I've been thinking about the book by Viktor Frankl, who was a psychotherapist who was inside one of the Nazis' concentration camps. And when he got out of there, he wrote a book called The Man's Search for Meaning. And I've been thinking about that of late, because I've been thinking about how meaning kind of spurs us on through the struggles of life, through the suffering that inevitably comes as part of life. The meaning, the purpose that will kind of make that suffering continue to be worthwhile. And one of the things that he argued is that meaning was central to humankind's, I don't know, it's essential to who we are, I suppose. It's an essential motivator. That's what I was getting at. And so that was Viktor Frankl's view. And he came up with this thing called logotherapy, and that basically just means therapy through the discovery of meaning. And as I think about meaning, it resonates because when you think about it, if you live your life around and kind of focus it around what is important to you, then that's a meaningful life, isn't it? And it also sounds like a very satisfying life. That if your life is really focused around the things that are genuinely, sincerely important to you, the stuff that really brings meaning to you because it's important to you. And the problem with this concept, I suppose, is it can be really difficult to kind of pinpoint what that is. Like, how do I live a life that is focused around what is important to me if I don't actually know what is important to me? Like, what does give me meaning? What does feel purposeful? What do I care about? Is the fundamental question, isn't it? How do I discover what I really care about so that I'm able to then build a life around that? Because there's lots of things that go on that, we don't really care about, and yet they can steal the focus of our life sometimes. So how do I actually discover what it is that I care about so I can intentionally, consciously put that at the center of my existence, my world? Well, it's a good question. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that some things, when you ask that question, will kind of naturally pop up. Possibly, maybe not. But even if they don't, and even if they do, and you need a bit more information, there's a lot of information about what you care about already going on every single moment of your life. And the evidence where you'll find, the threads to pull on are the actions, the thoughts, the responses, the emotions that you have day to day. So I've just had my dinner, and I had a soup, a homemade soup. It was nice and healthy. And I had that because if I were to dig into something as mundane as that, then the question is, well, why did I not just leave dinner? Well, I had dinner because I care about feeding myself, looking after myself. I care about ensuring that I can carry on through the day and still have enough energy to do the things that I want to do. I also chose that particular meal rather than, say, junk food because I guess when I think about it, I care about being healthy. So health is important to me. Something that wasn't really in the focus of my mind before I asked myself that question right here, right now. I'm also making this podcast at the moment. Why am I doing that? What does that tell me that I care about? Well, it tells me that I care about helping people, about spreading information that is going to be useful. And even things like, I don't know, maybe you're doing something that you don't particularly want to do. Even something like that, there is something in there that gives us a clue about what we care about. Someone might say, well, I really don't like going to that job every day. But the reason that I do it is if I don't do it, I'll get fired and then I won't have any money to kind of look after my family. And so even that, in that kind of mundane decision where it doesn't feel particularly exciting, even within that, it reveals, doesn't it? Once we kind of pull the curtain back and have a little look, it reveals that the reason we carry on doing that anyway, even if we don't like it, is because you care about looking after your family. So that tells you that your family is really important to you, that's one of the things that you value, that you really care about. And so in all these things, even your reactions to stuff, you might see, I don't know, a news story and feel angry. And maybe that anger would tell you that you care about injustice in the world, or you care about fairness. In all the things that we do, in all of the different ways we react, in all the actions that we choose to take, if we dig into it, it will just tell us what it is that we find important. And this doesn't have to be some sort of big global transformational thing. It might be that what's important to you is a small thing, but not to you. That to create a life around that, where that was brought more into the centre of your focus, would really give you a life that felt meaningful to you. So you don't have to be Mother Teresa to do this. It doesn't have to be some great big altruistic endeavour. It can just be something that's important to you, that gives meaning to you. And it's a good question to ask, I suppose, if I were to live a life that really justified all the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that come our way, what would that life look like that would give all of that some sort of meaning, that would make all of that worthwhile? What is it that is already going on in life that gives you a clue about what it is that's important? Because on any given day, some people are doing things that other people simply aren't doing. And the reason why some people are doing things that others simply aren't doing is some people find some things important, and for others, those very same things are not important at all. And it's very easy without intention, to drift into a life that isn't actually meeting any of our needs for meaning. And so what this exercise allows you to do is just dig in to the choices that you're already making and find out what it is that it tells you that you care about. Because once you know what you care about, once you know what's really important to you, once you know what gives you meaning enough that it is actually altering some of the actions that you're taking, even in this moment, even without real intention, then it'll give you a lot of ideas as to the things that are really important to you and give you meaning that you can build your life around, that you can move more to the centre of your own personal universe. And just that question without digging into the detective work of everyday life might just reveal something as well. So if you found this useful, please spread it far and wide. You can subscribe for free to this podcast wherever you get them. You can see the whole back catalogue at asliceoftherapy.com, and you can also get the back catalogue as well at liverpoolpsychotherapy.com, which is where I'm based. I'm Alun Parry at the Liverpool Psychotherapy practice, and you can actually work with me one-to-one directly. And again, I'm at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. So as ever, thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow.